today are in fact about increasing injustices, increasing inequalities, things that we are not happy about, things that we are not hopeful about. I'm talking about books like Chav's Demonisation of the Working Classes, or Scapegoat, How We're Failing Disabled People. And there have been numerous books about homeless people, about the homebound, about numerous groups of people who feel disenfranchised and who feel completely not included. Excluded from society, excluded from politics, excluded from any sort of world in which they have a voice. Now, the people these books talk about are in fact usually represented by Labour. But too often populism, rather than democracy, guides the biggest parties. And so Miliband was persuaded to call the benefits community, and I quote, "scroungers," during one of his speeches. Now, I'm not attacking Miliband, I'm not attacking the Labour Party, I'm simply stating facts and the way the system causes certain players in that system to act. Clearly, Labour's natural sentiment isn't usually there. I mean, philosophically speaking, Labour probably should have come back to the Conservatives saying, yeah, okay, we accept that benefit fraud is a problem that needs to be tackled and we'll work with you on these areas X, Y, Z, but let's look at the facts. Let's not scapegoat the majority of the benefits community who do have real, credible claims. Let's not scapegoat those people who are not claiming benefits, because in fact there's more money from unclaimed benefits than there is from benefit fraud. And let's shift the focus onto things that are more important. Tax fraud, for instance. Figures differ depending on the source, but generally it's in the tens and hundreds of billions for tax fraud, whereas you're talking less than 1 billion for benefit fraud. And Labour could have come back and said that, but the system they work in persuaded them that they had to follow what they were being told by media tycoons like Murdoch. And it's that system that so urgently needs reform. So just like the corporation has democratic aspects, but still ends up disenfranchising various people who have a stake in what they do, the state also has democratic aspects, but is not yet a real democracy. Risks are taken by individuals, and the biggest costs are usually felt by those who have the least or even nothing to do with that risk-taking. And just as there are many ethical and able businessmen who want to make the world a better place, but end up doing anything they can to maximise shareholder value, so too are there many able and ethically minded politicians who want to make the world a better place, who want to act on their principles, but end up, at the end of the day, doing anything they can to maximise GDP, often within the short term, within the electoral cycle, because of the system we live in. The system won't let them reform. It won't let them reform the big things like the environment or economic regulation. And it won't let them reform the little things, the relatively little things, like, for example, party financing. I mean, where you've got the biggest, most heavily funded parties with all the power to reform the party financing system, why are we expecting reform? Why are we even hoping for reform with the system the way it is? Because it's not going to happen. It's a bit like turkeys voting for Christmas. What we need to see is the system reformed, power decentralised, and the system moving away from its adversarial roots towards a more consensus-based system, where debate, transparency, honesty, these are the things of the day, not keeping each other a sword's width apart so they don't get too rowdy in Parliament. That's why the DRP is calling for a new system of democracy, a democracy 2.0, based on giving everybody a voice, excluding no one from being able to put their ideas forwards and seeing them debated and progress in a transparent manner, and ensuring that within a knowledge-based system of research, debate and voting, it's the party members who get to decide what goes into the manifesto, not a few people at the top, who, yes, may have dedicated their entire lives to politics, who may have done tons of research and know everything